Hello there. The new British Prime Minister Truss should actually explain her political agenda and then tackle the country's pressing problems. But much is lost during the mourning period after the death of the Queen. She only has a good 2 years before parliamentary elections are due still. The United Kingdom has not experienced a week like this in its recent history. Just last Monday, Boris Johnson was Prime Minister and Elizabeth II was Queen. Last week's Monday. Only a few days later, Great Britain has a new head of government with Liz Truss, and since the death of the Queen, with Charles III, a new king. This is a constitutional upheaval unknown in modern times. That's how the Sun newspaper noted that. For Truss in particular, the start in the new office is a special challenge. It is now up to her to raise the grieving nation up again. Many Britons would probably trust their much more eloquent predecessor Johnson to play this role. The fact that Truss failed in the first audience with the new curtsy to the head of state also caused ridicule on the internet and is not the best start visually. But in such a turbulent week, that should be quickly forgotten. Nevertheless, she does not get a rest period. High inflation, rising energy prices, and a full-blown NHS health crisis are just the most pressing concerns. But after less than 48 hours in Downing Street, the previous Foreign Secretary was slowed down, or, as the Times puts it, Liz Truss was hit by a hurricane. There is national mourning until the Queen's funeral, and that means no official events, no government announcements, and Parliament only meets to commemorate the Queen. So Truss can neither set her projects in motion nor present them to the public. The fact that trips abroad are also cancelled for the time being means that the Prime Minister, contrary to her plans, cannot go to Ukraine as soon as possible. Yeah, photo ops, I just say. At the beginning of the term of office, that would also have produced nice pictures for the voters at home. Because on top of people's concerns, Truss will probably only have about 2 years, possibly less, to get her Conservative Party back on track before the general election scheduled for 2024. In polls, the opposition party Labour is ahead. Truss accompanies the new king to the parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales this week, or she did, but she wanted to remain there in the background, as can be heard from number 10. This is obviously to avoid the thought that Truss is trying to get herself into the picture. I made a video on that accusations already. The fact that she now has to wait another week before she can start her 2.0 office should be all the more annoying for the head of government because, according to experts, the start was quite successful. Although not the first speech after the appointment on Tuesday, Truss was once again wooden and robotic. But on Wednesday, when she fought a duel with opposition leader Keir Starmer from the Labour Party in Parliament on her first full day in office, PMQ's was a bit more sincere than before. Significantly friendlier in tone than Johnson, consistent on the matter, and significantly improved in terms of language and rhetoric. Her parliamentary group, in which Truss only came second behind her competitor Rishi Sunak in the selection process, in contrast to the vote in the party base, seemed impressed, although she didn't really answer the questions either. At least when Truss hurled at Starmer, there's nothing new about a Labour leader demanding more tax increases. It's the old tax and spend. The deputies behind her cheered, and now it will be a question of closing ranks and, above all, of putting their politics in motion. When Truss received word in the middle of a parliamentary session on Thursday that the Queen was unlikely to survive the day, she had just announced her plan to combat skyrocketing gas and electricity prices. To do this, Truss wants to put together a huge £1 billion package and freeze prices, an enormous contradiction to her announcements that the state is not interfering in the market. But amid concerns that millions would be plunged into energy poverty, Truss had to deliver. The measure will come into effect on October 1st, but since Parliament is pausing again for the party conferences, which begin at the end of September, there is not much time. The procedure for Truss is particularly important because experts are certain her project, and above all its effect, will define her term of office after only a short time in the job. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.